Welcome to the Functional Medicine Institute podcast. I'm your host, Amber Warren. Each week, we uncover the root causes of disease, dive into the latest breakthroughs in functional and integrative health, and talk with leading experts who are reshaping the future of medicine. If you're looking for practical, science-based strategies to help you live healthier, longer, and with more vitality, you're in the right place. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Amber Warren. I'm a physician assistant here at Functional Medicine of Idaho, Functional Medicine Institute. I wanted to spend some time talking about female hormones. There's a lot of newer data that's coming out on the importance of bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. Please stay tuned because in an upcoming podcast, soon after this one, I'll be discussing with Dr. Mark Holthouse the importance of testosterone therapy in men and some newer data we're learning on the importance of getting that dialed and comorbidities associated with testosterone deficiency. So what I wanted to talk about was women and estrogen. The reality of the situation is that women are spending 25% of their life enjoying or not enjoying poor health, right? When we compare ourselves to men, we actually live 5 years longer than men. And at an equal age, we have more cardiovascular risk factors. When you actually break this down, we talk about the four horsemen, and I'm sure you've heard that if you're an avid podcast follower of ours, but Dr. Holthouse and I talk about the four horsemen of chronic disease. So we're talking about cardiovascular disease, cancer, neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia, and overall just metabolic dysfunction, right? Type 2 diabetes, prediabetes that's rampant in our country. When we talk about those four horsemen, there's only one that women do better with, and that's cancer. So 3 of the 4, we fare so much worse off than our male counterparts. And I can't leave this conversation without touching on cancer, because to me, these statistics are actually devastating. Your lifetime risk of cancer, if you're a man, is 1 in 2. So 50% of our male counterparts will get cancer at some point in their life. For women, it's 1 in 3. So we're really not that much better off. If you were able to, there was several months ago, we released a podcast on environmental toxicants and things you can do in your home environment to decrease your risk of toxins and help your body detoxify. And I say that because we really are truly seeing cancer on the rise because of environmental factors. These things are not genetic. It's the epigenetic issue, that how our genes are interacting with the environment, that is really causing these rates of higher levels of cancer. More on that later. But yeah, the reality is, coming back to men versus women, we have twice the risk of Alzheimer's disease. And Alzheimer's is a big deal because we don't have great ways of treating it. We don't have great medications. We have some medications that maybe halt the progression of Alzheimer's, but we don't have anything that actually helps to reverse or stop the disease from happening. The concerning thing that we're learning about Alzheimer's, especially in women, is we actually start to see changes in the brain if you were to look at brain MRI scans before we actually see symptoms occur. So our patients are starting to become more forgetful as we age. They're losing words, not being able to keep track of time, place, and location. And the brain changes potentially could have already been happening for 5 to 10 years. So that's an important point. So we're getting to an era in functional integrative hormonal medicine where we're looking at estrogen as not just something that's managing hot flashes or helping with libido or mood. It's actually becoming preventative care and becoming really important for long-term health for women. I'm sure a lot of you have been paying attention to what our government is doing and what the FDA said in November of 25. Very recently, the FDA commissioner, Marty McKay, came on and said, this is a pivotal time in our country and in medicine, and we're removing the black box warnings for bioidentical estradiol replacement. He actually didn't say estradiol, he said estrogen, and that's an important point. And that we're thrilled about that. We have been stating that the black box warning being that estrogen causes cancer, which we've been able to debunk that myth. That is all dogma that has been very successfully debunked. The Women's Health Initiative was a large study, but very poorly done study that really has hampered women in these last 25 years, 2.5 decades of life, to get the hormone therapy that they need. And the FDA said this type of therapy is not just life changing, but also potentially life saving. And because of the benefits we're seeing on cardiometabolic health, brain health, and bone health, of course, we agree. What I think that our government needs to do a little bit better job of is really breaking down what hormones are, because there are still a lot of synthetic, non-bioidentical hormones out there on the market, like in birth control, that a lot of our young adolescent or young women are taking. Those are synthetic hormones. Those are not bioidentical. And so I think as a healthcare practitioner, my job is to make sure my community and my clients are educated on what's synthetic and what's not. I also think that what the FDA was saying in that dialogue, what I took from it was that all women should be on hormones. No one should be held hostage from getting this kind of therapy. I also don't agree. It's important. A personalized approach is always important. Not everyone is a wonderful candidate for bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. Making sure your liver, which is what metabolizes estrogens, is in a healthy state, making sure your gut microbiome is in a healthy state, making sure your body and your cells are ready to receive these bioidentical hormone products. I also think that it's not just enough to measure hormones and replace them. Again, it becomes a personalized approach. You need adequate follow-up and need to make sure all of your systems that detoxify the hormones are working appropriately. It's interesting too, there's a new term that's being coined called thyroid pause. And so women in menopause are also starting to have some pretty significant thyroid issues. Part of the root cause there is hormone imbalances. Low progesterone causes inappropriate thyroid metabolism. Stress, our body's stress hormone cortisol, really interacts with and causes poor metabolism of thyroid hormones as well. So women, please don't just assume if you're foggy and tired and can't lose weight that it is just your sex hormones. You have important thyroid hormones, important stress hormones, important gut hormones that also play a very important role in a healthy metabolism. Again, when we talk about how we should be replacing these hormones, we talk a lot about in functional medicine. I already mentioned managing your stress. We can actually look at cortisol in your labs. We look at both urinary and salivary cortisol. Exercise, sleep, all of it's so important. When we lose, it's so interesting when we look at this pretty much overnight drop in estrogen that women experience when they become menopausal. It literally happens overnight, and you go from being in an anabolic state. Estrogen is very anabolic, meaning it helps us to build our lean muscle mass, and muscle mass is our organ of longevity. It's how we stay insulin sensitive and stay metabolically healthy. That overnight drop in lack of estrogen all of a sudden makes us catabolic, where we start to break down muscle. And that is where strength training, bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, and appropriate amounts of protein, consuming appropriate amounts of protein become very important. When I have clients, this is an important thing too that I've learned in my clinical practice. I have a lot of clients that come to me. I shouldn't say a lot, a very small amount. I misspoke there, but I do have some clients that come to me, and when we start them on the full gamut of hormone replacement therapy, there might be side effects, whether that be abdominal distension or fluid retention or sometimes even increase in brain fog. That's when we have to take a step back, evaluate how we're replacing those hormones. But most importantly, again, I mentioned this, evaluate the liver. Liver is how we clear excess estrogen in the body. And a lot of us are walking around with unhealthy livers. 60% of our population has either fatty liver or pre-fatty liver. Again, because of the chemicals in our food, the chemicals in our air, the toxins in our drinking water, heavy metals in the air. So we really have to make sure that we're stepwise doing the right thing for that client, evaluating liver health, cleaning up the liver if we need so before we introduced hormones into that picture. So I wish it was as easy as take this prescription, you'll feel better by Monday. Things have to be done in the right way. It's interesting when I look at the data on divorce and marriage in our country, we actually see divorce spiking the most between the ages of 45 and 55. The average age of menopause is 51. So right in that time frame, I think that's an important thing to remember for women as we're aging and trying to enjoy really healthy marriages. It's interesting to look at when we look at estrogen at age 40, we only have 3% of our egg supply. So we're starting to see declining estrogen levels in our 30s. And a lot of perimenopausal symptoms start in our 30s. So this is no longer a condition, I hate to say disease, but a condition that is affecting 50 and 60-year-old women. So please don't ignore symptoms that you're starting to experience. It was such an interesting, and this is a humbling experience that I'm happy to share. Probably 5 or 6 years ago, I had a client come and see me, and we could not for the life of me, figure out what was going on with her. She was having overwhelming headaches, brain fog, and some pretty significant insomnia. I thought for sure it was thyroid or a nutrient deficiency. Her labs kept coming back looking great. In my world, her hormones looking great. Now, of course, it's hard to look at hormones in blood testing because you're looking at one snapshot in time in an otherwise 28 to 32 day cycle. And I actually ran into her probably 3 years ago at our sons played football against each other. And I'm like, oh my goodness, it's so good to see you. How are you feeling? And she's like, it was all perimenopause. And at that time, 6 years ago, I didn't have the specialty hormone training I do in my practice that I do now. And I missed it. And I could have really changed that woman's life. We worked together for about a year. She went and saw a different practitioner and got the help that she needed. And I'm so thankful for that. But I really hope that all of this talk about bioidentical hormone replacement therapy and understanding the 70 to 80 different symptoms we see in peri and postmenopause, that healthcare practitioners are kind of opening their eyes to become more aware of just this issue. So yeah, when we talk about these symptoms of menopause, and I know we've talked about it and touched on it on this podcast before, but we're itchy ears, joint pain, the lack of ability to build muscle. Again, I mentioned that estrogen is an anabolic hormone, meaning it helps us to build muscle in our bodies, mood swings, depression, anxiety, inflammation, hair loss of elasticity in your skin. Estrogen actually causes depletion of collagen. If you're fatigued, if you're tired and wired, it starts to cause bone loss. We see osteopenia and osteoporosis from a lack of estrogen, the development of cardiovascular disease, plaque formation in our vessel walls, and just overall mortality. And again, I go back to saying, and I'm so thankful that our FDA is starting to say, this is a drug, estrogen replacement, that can not just change lives, but save lives. So checking your hormone levels, asking the right questions when you work with your healthcare practitioner, serum labs can be helpful, but again, please remember that is one snapshot in time of a long cycle. And these labs need to be checked at a certain period of time. I like to look at labs in my clients, if you're still cycling in their luteal phase, that's really when we can look at an estrogen to progesterone ratio. But I also use a lot of Dutch testing in my practice. For those of you that don't know, Dutch is a specialty hormone test. It's actually a dried urine test that can look at not only a full cycle, so we know what your hormones are doing at every stage in your different phases of your cycle, but it also can look at our hormone metabolites. So what is your body doing with estrogens, with androgens? Is it sending it down the right pathways? Do you have what's called a COMT enzyme that doesn't allow you to detox estrogen? We can influence that to make sure you tolerate estrogen and you detox the estrogens out of your system. So that's really important. And of course, another really important way that we help to detox hormones appropriately from the body is gut health. Are you having bowel movements every day? Do you have a healthy gut microbiome? Those are all things that we look at. The Dutch is also one of my favorite ways to evaluate hormonal status of my clients because it also looks at cortisol. It looks at both cortisol and cortisone. So deactivated cortisol is called cortisone. And that's such an important factor for my clients with brain fog, fatigue, anxiety, cognitive issues, hormonal imbalances. It's really hard to balance out your metabolism and balance out your hormones if you have cortisol imbalances in your system. Sometimes the only hormone we see increase as we age is cortisol. And so we have to manage and mitigate that. It's really important. I kind of tell my patients as we're aging, our bodies are becoming more sensitive, right? And so I tell them we have to color in between the lines. You maybe in your 20s and 30s, you were able to get away with 5.5, 6.5 hours of sleep. And now that you've hit perimenopause and you're in your 40s, you can't get away with that. Alcohol is a big one. It really causes a lot of gut disruption and can really mess with your hormones. Again, what you were able to get away with because of liver tolerance and cortisol tolerances might not be something that serves you any longer. So it's always an individualized approach. I have some women that are at rock bottom and we just do all the things. We're checking DHEA, which is an important precursor to testosterone. That's a really easy and straightforward supplement that you can take. It's available over the counter. It's very, very safe to naturally support the adrenals and raise androgen levels. So sometimes I will just start with a little DHEA, a little adrenal support, maybe some herbs to support cortisol levels. There's even a great herb called chase tree berry that can naturally support progesterone levels. Pregnenolone is a supplement that we use. Pregnenolone is our master hormone. So cholesterol gets converted into pregnenolone, and pregnenolone goes downstream to make all of our other hormones. So it can be a really nice way to just mildly kind of lift all of the other hormones. We don't know which pathway that's going to go down. Is pregnenolone going to take you into your androgens? Is it going to help you make more estrogens or more DHA and not necessarily transfer anywhere else? So there's nuances to all of that, and that's the importance of a personalized approach and testing and doing follow-up and not just guessing on what your body needs and what your body's going to do with some of these hormones. In other women, again, I'll start one at a time, and we always start low and go slow and just see how your body responds. The labs help us. We know that there's science that we're looking for optimal numbers of these hormones, but I tell my client I'm going to treat the patient in front of me and not necessarily a piece of paper, but the numbers definitely act as a guide. We talked about the genetic variants, slower clearance of estrogens and how we work with that. Gut microbiome. It was really interesting. I attended a longevity conference last month in Las Vegas, and so many topics, whether it's hormonal imbalances, PCOS, endometriosis, immunology, metabolism, weight loss, are coming back to the gut microbiome. And we can't underestimate the importance of having a healthy gut microbiome. 70 to 80% of our immune system lives there. It's so important in detoxification, so important in longevity. They were actually talking about leaky gut being a known biomarker of aging now. We can actually look at zonulin levels in our stool or in the blood. Zonulin is a marker for leaky gut, and that can be a marker of biological age. So please don't ever underestimate the importance of gut health as you're going along in your hormone journey. And then toxins, I mentioned it. I actually talked a lot, I mentioned it earlier in this podcast. I did a podcast episode on toxins in our environment and different ways to help create a healthier home and encourage your body to deal with the toxins that we're seeing in our environment. The fear mongering, estrogen alone doesn't cause breast cancer. I just want to make sure that we're driving that point home. We're actually seeing data that's stating the complete opposite, that we can actually use some of these bioidentical hormones to actually lower our risk of breast cancer. The timing hypothesis is important, and Dr. Holthaus and I will discuss this as well when it comes to in our testosterone talk about both men and women. But we know in those first 10 years, you get the most benefits. In that postmenopausal state. It doesn't mean it's harmful later, and it doesn't mean you can get benefits later, but you will get the most, especially cardiometabolic benefits, but also the brain health and bone health benefits if it's in that first 10 years of being in menopause. Technically, we have labs that can tell you when you're in menopause, but technically speaking, it's 1 year after your last period. But we do have labs to see if you're there, because not everybody falls inside that bell-shaped curve. When we see progesterone start to tank, it usually means that we're starting to have a difficult time staying asleep and falling asleep. So even though I was mostly focused on estrogen in this discussion, progesterone is something that we can start to lose in our 30s, and cortisol is a big it's kryptonite to progesterone. And so we see progesterone really benefiting sleep, anxiety, and it's a very calming hormone for us as women. And then worth mentioning just testosterone too. I don't want to leave out testosterone. Wildly important in both men and women, though, just lower levels in women. But it's really important for mental health. It helps to calm the brain down. It helps with our deep restorative sleep, exercise recovery, and it helps us build muscle. It's really good for body composition for women, and is also very protective to the bones. It's really interesting that we can look at all three of these hormones in women, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, and actually look at lowering the risk of breast cancer, of all cancers truly, but it's pretty remarkable to be able to say that. So I just wanted to share some of the newer data we're seeing and how here at the Functional Medicine Institute, just the course of action we're taking to help women really of all ages, but especially as we're getting into the perimenopausal and menopausal stage of life. So thank you so much. Please check us out. Our website, funmedinstitute.com. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for listening to the Functional Medicine Institute podcast. At FMI, we're committed to helping you achieve your best health, whether that means staying well with regular check-ins, resolving chronic concerns, or taking a proactive approach to aging and long-term vitality. Through our integrated model of primary care, functional medicine, and regenerative specialty services, we provide a precise, root cause roadmap tailored to you. No matter your starting point, we'll help you move confidently toward optimal wellness. Discover what's possible at funmedinstitute.com.